Hey Alex, mate, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Just on Earth, thanks for being here.
I didn't think that I could ever do an interview where I was more formally dressed.
I'm formally dressed on the feet. I have posh
You
shoes
are,
on,
and I'm wearing trainers that I won't even let, if they're not in shop, I consider that lucky, so I'm not going to have them.
I feel like we should, if we swap shoes, then we'd have complete outfits.
Well, I need new shoes here.
You need new shoes, yeah?
That's really hard to find. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you my trainers.
There you go.
So,
you feel like Marty McFly in Back to the Future?
You feel like Marty McFly? I feel like Dirty Harry.
Here we go. This is great. If there was an advert for comedy, this is it.
JokePit UK.
I've done some bad interviews leading up to...
Have you really?
Oh my god.
Tell us about your bad interviews. What did they say so I can not do
This girl went, so you're a comedian. Are you doing an Edinburgh festival?
And Edinburgh. Are you going to start your own festival?
And I went, yeah, everyone else is just up there as like support.
Did she even get it? Or was
no,
it
she
like
didn't. She was like, so what's your favorite gag you've ever done?
Oh man!
And I was like, the one I did just now, the one that you didn't get.
The one that no one gets, the best ones.
I don't like the question, how do you deal with hecklers?
Do you get asked that?
All the time I get, what's the best heckle you've ever gotten? That's the most irritating one because I go, well, it's not an art form, it's just an interruption.
Yeah, it's like, let's ask you about the one thing that's not part of what you put effort into.
Exactly. Like, hey, what's the best time you've ever seen somebody drop a dish at a restaurant?
Yeah.
So, oh, well, there was this one time this guy, like, spiked the dish. He's like, hey, slam.
What's the best cyclist you've ever hit in your car? That's like, it's interesting that you've done comedy in loads of different places.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done, a lot of places don't want me, so I have to go on to the next place.
Keep moving country.
I'm actually shocked that the UK has put up with me for so long. Because Edinburgh should be the final straw, and then
the
they'll be
UK's
like,
a great comedy scene.
Yeah, you have to move on to Perth or some shit like that.
Have you done Melbourne?
No, I really want to go to Australia.
Melbourne's the next one, but you've done, in my little sheet it said Boston, LA and Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Which was the best?
Which was the best?
The best crowds.
Well, the comedy scene in Jerusalem was pretty bad because it was just me.
Is that literally true? It was just you?
No, there were a couple of guys who were like really good comedians who had like retired to Israel, and there was this one guy who did a one-man show, and he said, I'm thinking of opening a club so I have a place to do my one-man show. And as soon as he said that, I was like, I'll help you. I'll open that club with you. I'll build. So for a couple of days, like I sat in like a basement with like hammers and nails, turning like an old ice cream shop into it was a Carvel's ice cream shop.
Let's probably ask you about comedy at some point, shouldn't I?
Oh wait, hold on, let's finish talking about Jerusalem because that was really interesting.
Tell me about Jerusalem.
Just because I know you're like, I'm gonna move on. I'm like, no, you're not. Not you.
No, I'm just constantly thinking like I should keep on track at some point.
You know what you should do? You should go, what's the best heckle you've ever gotten? So I can beat you to death with these my shoes that you just gave me.
Tell us about Jerusalem, it's really interesting.
Oh yeah? Oh, it's so funny that you should mention that because it's exactly what I want to talk about. No, there were 4 or 5 comedians and we started an open mic on Mondays and people kept coming back.
Awesome.
So we got this regular crowd of people. So it was interesting because you had to keep doing new material every Monday. So it actually forced me to write for the first time. So that was really good for me. But London is kind of like, anything that gets you to create is worthwhile. That's why it's like worth taking a writing workshop in college or university because like they'll make you write something and that's actually that's the first step. If you don't write something, you're not going to end up with any.
Is that when you started comedy in college? Is that when you started?
No, I started in high school. Started when I was like 16, 15.
So really 16. In clubs or just?
Started in a pizzeria.
No way, really?
Yeah, it was bad. It was a nightmare.
Did they want you there or were you just in the corner?
It wasn't even a stand-up comedy night. It was a music open mic.
Great.
And I went in and I said, you want to try stand-up comedy?
They asked you?
Yeah. And no, well, I said, can I try some stand-up? And they said, why?
Nothing else, just why?
And I went, do you know that's a really good question. It was horrible.
That's the best heckle right there. Why?
Why?
That's the best heckle. Is this your first ever full-length Edinburgh show that you're doing this year?
This is my first solo show. Yeah, it's the first full-length, hour-long solo show. It's so exciting.
How's it going? Is it better? Do you find the narrative better over an hour, or do you have a narrative? How do you like it?
A narrative sort of developed organically, I guess. There was something that, there's a theme to it. I took this test to see how much I belong to this certain group of people. And like
possessive ownership.
No, like millennials, which is the name of my generation.
Yeah, my generation too. I think we're the same.
Yeah, we're the same generation. We're millennials. I scored on the test. You have to buy a.
You scored.
I scored. I was about to tell you how I scored, but then I figured let him buy a ticket. Suspense.
You get a score, so like you get told whether you should be friends with your friends or not.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
It's a little weird. They're like, hey, you belong to this group. I'm like, it's empirical. You can't tell me now.
What do you want to do moving forward? Like if you were like 10 years down the line?
I'd love to write a TV show. I'd love to do some original content. It wouldn't even bother me if I did it for the web because...
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. I don't care where it goes out as long as it's...
As long as it's high production value and fun to watch.
It's funded.
I've done a lot of stand-up over the last couple of years, and I have no plan. I'm not getting tired of it at all. To quit. I love to just keep producing. I like Edinburgh because I like the idea of producing an hour every year. My venue is the Pleasance Attic.
When can people see you? What times and stuff?
8:15.
8:15.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good show. It's worth coming to see.
Good show.
But then again, I wrote the damn thing, so I really and probably performing it. So.
No one else is here, so if you don't say it, no one will say it. So say it's really good.
The show is really good.
It's really amazing.
It's in the Pleasance Attic, in the Pleasance Courtyard. Say something nice. Say
It
something
was
nice.
I loved it. Loved it in the future. I fell in love.
What's the future tense for love?
Will love.
He will love it, and you will love it.
I loathed it. No, that's not right. Loved it.
You loved
Thank
it.
you.
Loved it.
Thank you very much for joining us,
Right.
Alex. See you later.
Now that I've done the promo, I don't see any reason I can.
Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on the internet.
JokePit, home of new comedy.
You still got my shoes on. No, there we go again. Thanks, man. It's fun.